seconds so that it can make sure people are joining, coming in. Um, yeah, as people are rolling in, slowly but surely. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the Ghost River Triangle Convention, the very first one ever. This is the International Earpers panel, where we have a group of wonderful Earpers all from around the world who are here to talk about their experience as international Earpers, and what it's like to be part of this global community. Um, and if we want to go around introducing, you can introduce yourself, and then say where you call home, and then after that, we'll get started with the questions if that sounds good to everyone. All right.
Okay.
Anisha, why don't you go first?
All right. My name is Anisha. I'm originally from India, but I have lived in various places throughout my life. So I don't have a home yet, but I hope sometime in the future I can call someplace my home. But at the moment, since I'm in India right now, I'll call India my home.
Amazing. Isabela.
Hi, I'm Isabela and I'm from Brazil and I live here in Brazil, so that's my home.
Great. Theresa.
Yeah, I'm Theresa. I'm from Germany. I've been traveling a lot, but living here. So Germany would be my home currently.
And then last but not least, Raissa.
Hi, I'm Raissa and I am from Brazil and that's my home.
Fantastic. Thank you all for introducing yourselves, and let's get this panel going. So, the first question I have for all of you is what originally made you start watching Winona Earp? And we can go in the same order that we did. So, Anisha, if you would like to kick us off. Um,
Sure. So actually, I found out about Winona Earp through Instagram. Actually, it was from season three where Winona was hiding under the pool table to avoid Charlie. And I don't remember whose account it was. And the caption was such a cutie, hashtag Winona Earp and hashtag Melanie Scrofano. So I was like, huh, Winona Earp, that sounds interesting. Okay. So I went to Google, I typed in Winona Earp, and that time Winona Earp was trending in Netflix. It was on number two in India. So I was like, okay, sure, this looks good. And I think it was the second season poster where Winona was holding Peacemaker looking, I don't know, on the side, and, Peacemaker was glowing. So it just looked interesting. And then, and it said Western, horror, supernatural, and that's something that I like. So I played the first episode. I was like, okay, it's great, it's good. I mean, I don't see anything so supernatural about it until Winona shoots the first Revenant and they get dragged down to hell. And that's what captivated me. I was like, okay, I gotta watch this. This is so cool. This is different. And then, of course, when Nicole entered the picture, I was like, okay, whoa, wait. I had to pause the episode. I was like, wait, hold on. All the TV series I've seen, for example, Friends. People who have seen Friends, how Ross's ex-wife, they just show a couple for like maybe 5 seconds and that's it. But here it was like, oh my god, I actually feel connected. Like, it was actually there. It's focused on the queer couple. So that's what really got me hooked into the show.
Great. Um, Isabella, how about you?
I started because I met a girl when was we were playing handball, and she was like, "Okay, so if we're gonna be friends, you should watch One on Earth." And she literally obligated me to watch. So it was so I started then watching, and then I saw Melanie, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna watch it till the end." And I stay here till today. I
Great.
was in love first since the first time that I saw.
Amazing. Theresa, how about you?
Quite boring, actually. Netflix was like, might like this. And Instagram was showing Nicole and Waverly pictures, actually. And I had this gay content, and I was like, who are these girls? And I actually found out through the hashtags and then looked it up. And then a friend of mine actually started watching it for like 1 or 2 episodes and then stopped, and she made me watch it, and I kept going. So it was a suggestion by Netflix.
Netflix to the rescue.
Netflix to the rescue.
Thank God.
Yeah. And Raissa, how about you?
I was scrolling my social media and I saw a trailer of Winona Earpers. So I found very interesting because the main character is a woman. So immediately I searched on Netflix and I found it. So I remember that I watched seasons one and two in 1 week. Like it's incredible. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
May I ask something,
Please
you
do.
guys?
Please do.
What hooked you? Like for me, it took 2 to 3 episodes to actually get into the show, because usually science fiction is not my genre.
um,
So what was it for you that like drew you to the show?
I always liked science, sci-fi uh, TV show. So when I watched the first episode, I was like, "Oh yes, that's a show that I need to watch." So I continued to watch it.
And for me, I think, well, two things. One was Winona herself, because I was like, okay, so this, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say this chick looks like she doesn't give a damn in this entire world, and I aspire to be like her. And the second was the scene that I described before, where I forgot the Revenant's name, where Winona shoots him, and the gun was glowing. I was like, what? What was that? And then I see him getting sucked down. I was like, okay, whoa, wow, this was not what I was expecting. Because usually sci-fi, it has something to do with, I don't know, space, aliens, supernatural, but this was different kind of a supernatural that I wasn't expecting. So that's what really kept me hooked.
For me, was like I saw Winona and was like, okay, a girl with a gun and so powerful. I need to watch it. And then at the second episode, Nicole had the first appearance of Nicole, and I fell in love with her. Like in the first scene, I was like, oh my god! And then I started to follow the actors, and yeah, it was because of them, Melanie and Kit.
Great.
And for you, Bernie?
Uh, great question. I'm a bit of a newbie. I started watching it about a year ago, around this time, and I heard a lot about it. It was mentioned a lot on one of my other favorite shows, One Day at a Time. Um,
Yes.
so I was like, all right, I can check it out. I'm in quarantine. It gives me something to do. Also on Netflix, so I found it. And I knew that there was a lot of great queer rep in it, which is what originally really drew me to it. And like you said, after episode 2, we don't usually get queerness that early on in a show, and to get it
True.
in episode 2 was incredible. Um, so that made me really love it, and I also love the relationship between Waverly and Winona. I think it's so beautiful the way that they show
It
that.
is.
Yes.
Makes
Yeah.
me want to have a sister.
Agreed. Well, I can tell you, not all sisters are like that.
That's what my friends tell me.
I don't
And
have a sister.
I
Me
have a
too.
brother. I have an older brother, and believe me, oh my god. Sometimes you just want a sister. If you want to share your deepest, darkest secret, you just want to
Yes.
share it with a sister. You cannot do that with a brother.
Oh, you can't do that with all sisters either, believe me. I mean, I
I
see a little
believe
bit
you.
of Winona in her, but no.
I'll take your word for it.
All right, let's go to another question. What makes you feel so connected to Earpers around the world, even though there might be a language barrier? Whoever would like to go first, please feel free to jump in.
Everyone's screaming here.
Anyone? Anyone?
I can start off. I don't really have an answer for that. I think it is. I mean, I was not active in the fandom like very much because social media actually is my job. So I stay away from it in my private life as much as I can. And when I started getting more invested, I found so many people that were thinking alike, and that is something I did not find coming back to Germany from my travels. I didn't have many people I connected with on that kind of level, maybe because they didn't have the same experience in some levels. So there was like a deeper connection. Like everyone felt maybe a little lost. Everyone was looking for some kind of family, people who understood them and accepted them the way they are. And I actually found that there with a lot of people, and so many people in one place I haven't seen quite often. So that was something that kept me active actually in the fandom.
I super agree with you because I said that I think that Earpers have a feeling that we can't explain, but everyone feel home in the fandom and with the show. So I think that we can't explain what is that, but we all feel because make us comfortable with who we are and comfortable when our life are not okay. We feel, I don't know, I feel home with everything.
Oh, I'll go. For me, actually, it was, I could be myself actually, because I mean, to my friends, they know I'm queer. To my family, they don't. I'm still closeted. So there are times where I'm suffocating. So I always looked for, a support group, if you will. And Earpers are always there. Like, you know, without judgments, you want help. If you want a listening ear, if you want a shoulder to cry on, Earpers are always there. And that's what I liked because I like since I was a kid I had faced a lot of racism and judgment, so I was a little skeptical. I was like, should I open up? I don't know, will I connect with them? But really, like, the fandom, they're always open with, to accept newbies like such as I am. I think that's what I liked about Earpers. Like, you can just, they've taken anyone and everyone without judgments, without any remarks.
Yeah, I think that's something
Yeah.
very rare. I haven't experienced many fandoms that are so open to anyone.
Mhm.
And I've got a friend who's very active in the, what's it called, Attack on Titan fandom. And
Yes,
I
yes.
told her about the Earpers, and she was like, "Oh my god, that would not be possible with this people. Like, that sounds so special that she started Winona Earp watching because of that."
We are special.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Absolutely. Um, Isabella, I
Mm.
really liked what you said about there's like a feeling that we all have that can't be described, and
Yeah.
it's I feel like that's the universal language of Winona Earp is that feeling, um,
Yeah.
and though there might be language barriers, that's truly how we all connect. And, Raissa, I feel like I accidentally cut you off. Please jump in. I am so sorry.
Me?
Uh,
Oh
No.
no, Raissa.
mhm.
Oh,
One thing that I feel is that talk with people around the world uh, um, makes me more open mind because I am connected with so many cultures, different cultures, and makes me understand more um, everyone in this fandom.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
definitely.
like digital traveling.
It's true. That's a really great way to put it. I think especially with these online conventions, like it really is
Yeah.
Yeah.
virtual traveling because we get to see folks from everywhere, really. Um,
Yeah.
oh, this is a good question. How has the pandemic changed your involvement in the Winona Earp community, if it has? Um,
Oh wow.
yeah, take a second. Um,
Well, I kind of answered that before, I think. So I'm gonna just gonna start off so you guys can think a little. um, and actually, because I lost my job due to the pandemic, and social media is my job, I actually started using it more privately. So um, I started joining more groups. I started interacting more, and that is actually how I met my chosen family. And yeah, I'm actually really glad I did. I'm a little bit sad I didn't do it earlier. But yeah, it just made me get active and interact more.
I'm with
Yeah, me
Teresa
too.
on that one. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm with I'm with Teresa on that because honestly, like I had social media, but I was, especially with my work, like I wasn't as active on social media as I am right now. Uh, so I'm definitely with Teresa on that. My involvement in social media has increased drastically. I mean, I surprised myself on that.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah, me too. I didn't have time to be so long on Twitter, for example, because I was studying all day and night. And this pandemic made me start to talk with a lot of people from different countries, but also with Raissa here and Tris, that we are from the Europe in Brazil. So these little things made me feel more connected with the fandom and with myself, because I was more open-minded because I was listening to people with another culture and with other experience of living, and that's what changed with me. Just my mind, I guess.
absolutely. I feel did I cut anyone off? I'm so sorry if I did.
No, you didn't.
No.
I'm just seeing the chat in
Okay.
between and
Okay. Whew.
seeing lots of Brazilians there.
Oh yes. Looking at the chat. Of course, lots of love for Brazil. Lots of love for Brazil. Um, and I think someone said we don't judge except if you say Willa is the best Earp sister. Um,
I know that one.
um, um, yeah. Everything that you all are saying is so true, and I think what you were all saying with the pandemic is we were all kind of forced to sit still and not move for months on end. I'm here in the States. We're still, you know, working through it. Um, and it was for me it was really nice to have people to like reach out to and see that oh, other people are as nerdy as me when it comes to this. Other people like this queer
Yeah.
stuff as much as I do. And yeah, it's true. There's been a common theme throughout all of these panels that this one phrase has come up over and over again, and that's chosen family. And I think it's exactly that. That the Earpers are a chosen family, and yeah, that's that's all I really have to say about that. Um, let's
May
see.
I ask where in the US you are from?
Yes, I live in New Jersey, um, which is
Nice.
right south of New York. I'm moving back to New York next week, actually, which is so
Oh,
exciting.
wow. Cool.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
hooray!
Oh,
Safe travels.
Thank you. Let's see. Oh, I really like this question. Um, how do you think Earpers can? What do you think Earpers can do to make the community more inclusive of international fans?
I say.
Wow.
The fandom itself or the company showing the show?
The
Uh,
fandom itself. I'm sure
Okay.
we have a few ideas for the company, but we are sticking to the fandom.
Um, I would say convention, honestly, because in India, I've been here for a year, and to be honest, like Wine Earp is not as popular as it is in the States, in Canada, in Brazil. So I think maybe they should hold convention, and of course, airing is one of them. But I think maybe convention so people will get to know, okay, what is Wine on Earp, or Earpers like me who don't know that there are other Earpers in this country can actually come together and kind of like spread the word through the conventions.
Yeah. I was 2 years like lost in the fandom because I didn't know anyone from Brazil, and after 2 years that I met them. So I agree with you, and I think that that kind like now we having a panel and talking about it. That's more inclusive. You know, it was a really good initiative to you know to start with this conversation for more people. And one thing that I think would be cool, it's people who is not from another countries like in America Latina or India. I don't know. I'm saying here because I live there. Playing jokes, that aren't jokes, but like should be Latina or Brazilian. So, sexualizing the things because sometimes it happens in the fandom. And it's not because I don't need to be sexualized just because I'm from Brazil, or I'm Latina. And I think that we all have this, I don't know, this thinking on your minds, but I don't know that's true because here in Brazil it's really hard to us to participate of virtual cons or cons like personally because it's so expensive. We don't have a good government here right now, and we try to do things, everything that we can participate, we are there because here it's really famous when on Earth. Like I met in my city, that's a small city, many people who watch it. So I think just seeing our point, not no judgments, because sometimes I see with people like, oh, but it's famous in Brazil, but you are not doing this and this, and it's like, okay, but we don't have money enough sometimes, we can't do anything for it. So I think that's just be more open for people who is doesn't like so
Absolutely. I just
yeah.
want to say, Asa was having a little bit of a Wi-Fi issue, so I know that the current boxes on the screen through Twitch are a little messed up, but they will be fixed as soon as Aisa joins us again. So before the chat starts telling me like, "What are you doing?" It will be fixed shortly. It will be fixed shortly.
Okay.
Yeah, some people said we're frozen every now and then. I've got the same problem. I think it's just the internet today.
I think
If I
so,
don't
yeah.
Yeah.
respond right away, it's because sometimes it's lacking.
Absolutely. You love technology. You love it. Some days it really, really works for us, and some days it really, really doesn't. But
Well, it never loves me back.
Yeah.
I had the same problem. That too in the middle of a meeting. I was like, oh no, at a choice of words. I nearly bashed my, Wi-Fi router.
that is a full mood, I think.
There she is.
And there we
And she's
go.
back.
Hey! We're back.
Yes.
And that.
Um,
Finally.
yeah. Um,
Should we answer the question still, or should we just move on to the next?
oh, you can still absolutely answer the question if you would like to. Absolutely.
I wasn't sure because I don't know if she still likes to say something about it because she just
Me?
was like,
No.
kicked out.
No, I think
You
Raisa.
you
I
can
think.
go. I'm sorry.
I think I can just agree with the two of you because over here it starts with the problem that people don't even know what a convention is usually because it's not something very popular in Germany. Um, so in the beginning, I didn't even know about the conventions to begin with, and that's why I missed out on a lot of them. But from the fandom itself, I think it was one of the most including fan groups I've ever met, to be honest. There's always room for improvement, obviously. I mean, we all got stereotypes. We all use them sometimes without even noticing anymore because we are so used to it. But um, I think the special thing about this fandom is that if you tell someone or you make them aware, they're so willing to improve it and they're so willing to adjust and do it better next time. Some people would just say like, "Oh yeah, well then I just go do whatever you want. I don't want to change myself." And I think that is rare and very special, actually, that these people want to do better and they want to improve. And from that point of view, I would say they can't do much more than keep improving and keep working together and have a conversation to make it better.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Does anyone else have anything to add? Fantastic. Someone just said, someone just said, "Good morning from Australia." Hello, Australia.
Oh my god, an Aussie!
Good morning.
Um, this is wild. We have people from all over. We have people from London. I saw someone from Japan earlier. Incredible.
That's
Truly,
cool.
truly incredible. Um,
My heart goes out to Australia, I gotta say. I'm sorry.
no, please. Um, I want to ask you all. They said good day.
Good day.
Yeah. Um, if anyone in the chat has any questions, please feel free to send them in. And I'll find them. I'll look at them, and we can answer them. But for now, I'm curious. Who is everyone's favorite character on the show? Like, I'll go first. Uh, I'll go first. I think.
Don't say Willa now.
No, no.
Okay, it's really hard.
I will say, I feel bad for Willa. I think Willa gets a bad rep. I think Willa has had a tough life, and she's working. She was working through it before the
Yeah.
snake took her. But I'm sure it comes as no surprise. Nicole Hot is
I love your
absolutely
shirt.
100.
I love your shirt.
Thank you. Nicole Hot is my favorite character. I don't think I've ever seen somebody that I relate to so intensely on television before um, as a queer person, and it's nice to see that she's like a strong queer person, but who's also aware of her emotions and is so resilient and just such a wonderful way to kind of see a reflection um, of yourself on TV, and that's that. So I would say Nicole. Yeah, I'm curious about all of you.
Mine is there, Winona and Nicole. But also Mercedes, because I can't choose of them, but the character that I feel more represented, it's Nicole, because when I was discovering myself and I was accepting that I was my sexuality, I started to watch the show at the same time. And I was coming out to all my family and my friends, and it was super crazy. And she really helped me to find who I am and to know that's not wrong to be who I am and be happy.
I can't choose one, I'll tell you that. But I will say uh, two of them actually. One of them being Waverly, because I can connect to her so much because I went through what she went through. Like basically exactly what she went through when she was with Champ, and I had an ex boyfriend. She met Nicole. I also met when I was in college, I also met this cute girl, and I was like, what is this? Why am I feeling all these feelings in my gut? Like, is this normal? And I was questioning it. And that time I actually came out to my best friend and my godmother. And this is where my second favorite character comes, and that would be Gus, because my godmother actually, she would throw subtle bombs throughout my life, and she always said, you know, you can love whoever you want, I won't judge you, it's okay unless they're an a-hole. So she kept on saying that, and I didn't understand, like, what is she talking about? I mean, I like guys, I mean, seriously, chill, take a chill pill, woman. So definitely Gus, because she reminds me of my godmother. Like, she knew it before I did, and I feel like that's how, Waverly and Gus kind of had, like, Gus already knew about Waverly's attraction to Nicole before she herself knew it. Oh, I'm
So
done.
my favorite characters are Winona and Waverly, but I feel very connected with Waverly. Her history is like, uh, I feel that when she discovered herself, it's like the same way I discovered myself, and she helped me uh, pass through it. So it's Waverly.
It's hard to choose one. That's true. But I would go with Nicole because I like the way the character was portrayed with the sexuality. Like, it was no big deal. She didn't have to go to anyone and say like, "Hey, I'm gay." She just goes in there, does her thing, and it's just clear, and no one cares. And she does it with so much confidence, and the way Kat portrayed it, I think, was really good. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm gonna go with Nicole. Yeah.
I feel like Nicole now, more confident in my sexuality. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all strive to have the confidence that Nicole has when she walks into Shorty's for the first time. At least I strive for
Well, if
that
I would look like
confidence.
this,
I strive for that too, just
Yeah,
going and
I was
straight up
like,
talking to my
oh.
crush. Ooh, girl.
I was
No.
like, okay, but she's gay. It was the first thing that I thought when I saw. I was like, okay, but she get it.
I was thinking the same
She has
thing.
this energy.
I was thinking the same thing, but then I have friends who are not queer, but they act queer. So I was a little confused. But when Nicole said, how about coffee? I was like, okay, no, it's confirmed. She's gay. Okay, never mind. At first, I was a little confused.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We have a question in the chat. What would you like to see in a possible season 5?
Just the season 5. I just wish it had anything being the season 5. I would like to see more the history of Winona. I said like her emotional, like about Alice, about her when she was a teenager, because she was hated by everyone at the city, and we don't know how she was about it and what she did when she wasn't in purgatory before her anniversary. So I would like to see more about it and to see some therapy for everyone because they need therapy. They really need therapy.
or imagine them in a group therapy
Which
thing.
therapy for all of them? I don't know.
I, yeah, sorry, go ahead, Isabella.
No, it's just that you can go. Sorry.
I think, I mean, you can disagree, but I think I would like to see Nicole's side of the family, because we have seen so much of Earps, and I love the Earps, don't get me wrong, but I think the only time we saw Nicole's family was the photo frame from season one. I think it was episode 7.
Yeah.
I think it was Nicole's sister. I was just seeing some
Yeah.
theories on Twitter, and that's the
The
only
cat
thing we have
actually said
seen.
it's sister and nephew or niece.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
there we go. So I would like to see more, even if it's Nicole's sister and her nephew, niece, whoever it is, and the kids. I would love to see that.
Yeah, it would be cool. She need therapy too, Nicole.
She needs the biggest therapy after
Yeah.
yesterday's episode.
Because bullshit, when it happens, I was like, okay, but nobody is talking about it, that she passed in her life when she was a child, and now she's passing again, and
Oh,
just gone.
yeah.
They just forgot about it.
Yeah. And
Uh,
then Waverly
Therapy.
being in the garden
Yeah.
and taking five the thing, the twig, the tree things. I don't know
The
what to call it.
vines.
The vines. Thank you.
Yes.
Had a brain fart.
Yeah. Teresa, Aisa, how about you guys?
I agree with Isabella. I think we need to see more about what happened with Winona before and see how she connected with Alice because we don't know about Alice yet. So,
Yeah.
Well, for one, Nicole's past, definitely, because we've heard like bits and pieces, but we've never really
Yeah.
seen any of it. I think that would be really interesting. Or how they, I don't know how they're going to show how it's going on with her PTSD in 4B. So that interesting as well. And a way hot wedding maybe, because I think if we see it in 4B, to me it would feel a little rushed. So far, this relationship has been quite well passed, brought forward. However,
Yes. 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 Yes.
so to me it would be, I would wish for a wedding in season 5 instead of 4B, and Nicole's past, and maybe even Winona's youth, because from what we heard, there's some really major shit going on.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
And I
think
mean, the group therapy thing could be really funny.
it
Yeah.
would be really
Group
great.
therapy. Group therapy.
It would definitely be very, very productive. I think.
Yeah.
Um, I have to agree with all of you, but also Isabella that I just want to see it. You know.
Yes.
um,
Yeah. I'm crying.
absolutely. Um,
We'll
another
work on that.
another question we have is who's the best villain so far?
Oh.
That's hard.
That depends on what you're looking at.
oh
Like, I
yeah.
love Bobo, the way Michael portrayed it and stuff. Bobo is amazing, but from a villain perspective and how they push the story forward, I think Willa did an amazing job.
Oh yes.
As little as I like the character itself, you need this kind of villains to like push the story and to make it interesting, and to have someone to hate actually makes you love the whole rest so much more, right? So they did a really good job, but my heart goes out to Bobo because I just love the way Michael Eklund did it. It's you love him. You just gotta love him, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm totally with you. I like, I think, all the violence, but not of 4A. At the 4A, I was the season 4A in the case. I was like, I hate the Clantons. And here in Brazil, we made some jokes with the name of them because has a Brazilian name that's near of Clantons. That is Clayton. So we are doing jokes about it all the time. So it's gonna be funny. But my favorite one is Bo too. I think that the way that the Michael put his feelings to retreat Bobo and all his emotions and all his passing through and all this kind of dark side of him. It's so true and so, I don't know, really gets me. I love him.
I'd go for Agent Lucado, actually.
Good one.
Because, I mean, after Black Badge, well, shut down, I guess, or vanished in thin air, she had no choice but to kind of team up with the Earps, and they're not taking any of her shit, basically. How she asked Waverly to get coffee, and then, both Winona and Waverly were like, dude, really? So I I don't know. I just feel like she had no choice but to join the the Earp gang for whatever it was, and then also using Waverly as a bait to kind of get some intel back in, was it Budding, the bar's
Yep.
name? So that she had no backup, but of course I didn't like that she lied to Winona because Winona is so protective of her sister. And also I think her death could have been done a little better instead of her touching the goo and then literally blowing off her mind. I think I don't know, she could have like jumped off a cliff or something or get dragged into the garden, but I just think she could have like left in a much more nicer way. Like that was just brutal.
Yeah.
I like Bobo, but I am really excited to see Cleo. I think she's gonna do a lot of crazy things to the
Yeah.
Earpers. I'm really excited to see her.
Yeah. I will say, for me, my favorite villain, or I guess they would be villains, are the widows. Um,
Ooh.
they are just first of all, Danny Kine and Megan Heffern absolutely blew me away. As the two of them, and just kind of like embodying them and like their physicality, like it was just incredible. Um, but also I feel like it's what's nice about Winona is that you get women who are villains that you still that you like love to hate.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think the widows is like a fantastic example of it. Um, they're sassy, they're confident, and the one thing I always think about is Beth Gardner in season 2, when Nicole's in the hospital, going to Waverly, trying to convince her to give her the ring, and then when Waverly says no, she goes, "Then you should probably get to getting a casket about yay high," and it's
Oh, I loved that part.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
amazing. But there's a lot. What people are saying in the chat is it's impossible to choose only one villain, and it's true.
Yeah, it's true. And I mean, we
Yeah.
totally forgot about Jolene. I mean, that
Oh,
she did an amazing job.
Oh.
That was one of my
oh,
favorite
Yeah.
episodes ever. I was just like, while we were talking, I was like, oh my god,
yes,
Jolene.
Jolie.
She was amazing.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if I love the way that she made me hate her or I just
Yeah.
hate her, you know? Because I was like, okay, that's not cool. I was crying. I was like, oh my god, no, don't do it. And I didn't know if I loved the way that she was acting and made the character, or I didn't know if I just hated Jolene. Like, okay, don't.
Absolutely. So we have a couple minutes left here. Um, within those last few minutes, first of all, thank you all again. This has been a blast. And it's been so lovely hearing from each and every one of you, about your Winona Earp journey and, how you wish to continue it in the future. Um, if there's one thing that you hope Earpers in the United States and Canada got out of this panel, what would it be? I really just flung that
That's a good
onto you.
question.
I
Yeah,
really
it's
flung
it's
that
a really
onto
good
you.
question.
Yeah.
Send all the good sweets my way. um, no, I think they can just keep connecting with everyone, and I know time zones can be really difficult and stuff, but maybe try doing cons all over the world, not just in America, or try to connect with people and help them out if they want to do them somewhere else and they don't know how to do it, because most of them are fan made. We know that. So help each other, be there for one another, talk, connect. That's all I can wish for.
I agree with Teresa because from what I see, the cons, they're actually, it's either Canada, US, or England. Uh, and it's my suggestion for the future, of course, if they can just maybe do one in Brazil and go to different continents, and
Isabel,
maybe come to this side of the world.
uh,
And, I think it's all about exposure, especially in Asia when, LGBTQ topic is a little, stay away from that like the plague. But I think Winona Earp is actually, it would be nice. It would be like a lot helpful to have cons and anything Winona Earp related because I'm not speaking for everyone, but I'm just speaking for people like me who are closeted, who cannot come out. They just want a support group like we have the fandom. So I think we just need more exposure on this side of the world where people can actually join us even more.
I agree with all of you because I think that Winona is so much more than a TV show, and it's a way for all of us to find a place that we can feel comfortable and happy with ourselves, and to show for other persons who aren't uh, with this caution of LGBT culture, of girls on the top, to show that we can be powerful and we can be who we want to be. I think that represents so much more for, I don't know, everyone. But I'm saying for me. I don't know if you agree.
I
Irping
think
is a way of living.
yes,
Really, really.
we must need to be connected, and like I will say, Isabella and I, we are trying to do a convention here in Brazil next year. Let's see what we gonna do. We are very excited.
That's super exciting. Best of luck to you. Feel free to reach out. Any questions, anything like that. This was our first year doing this, and I'm not saying we're pros, but I'm saying that we've experienced everything you're about to go through. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Um, and I think that's it for this panel. I want to thank every single one of you again. It has been wonderful speaking to all of you. Everyone in the chat is sending love all of your way. I like this one that just came in. You are not alone. We are fighting from all over, and will continue to do so. I think that's a great way to kind of cap this off. So, thank you everyone again. Stay tuned for the final panel of the day, the LGBTQ panel. You'll see my shining face there as well. So, I'll see you all soon, and thank you all again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having
Thank
us,
you.
and
Thank you
love
so
back to
much.
everyone in the chat.
It was lovely, and thank for everyone who is watching.
Yeah.
Thank you.